pieces of information together to see what the world is doing, how we are positioned. The angst against China globally, continues, whether it's Australia, whether it is United Kingdom, whether it's Canada. Now it's beginning. I mean, they're beginning to get called up. The latest action we saw was in Myanmar, where they actually more or less blamed the Chinese for helping the terrorists, and they now want international help. You have the Philippines coming out against the action, the drills that were being conducted by the Navy in the South Chinese Navy in the South China Sea, fully supporting what Taiwan's done. But here, let's just start with what our media is saying. We have a report. It says Modi speaks to Putin in wake of rising tensions. Russia key to India. China LAC standoff. I beg to differ here. It talks about 21 MiGs, 12 Sukhois, and the likes of that defense equipment that's supposed to come from Russia. On the other side, look at what you have, which has become critical for that sector. The M777 howitzers, American supply. Heavy lift C-17, American supply. Hercules, American supply. Chinook, American supply. The Apache, American supply. Right? So for someone to tell me that Russia is critical for this is talking really, it's nonsense. At this point of time, our major support is going to be coming from the Five Eye countries, and it's going to be coming from the United States, Australia specifically. It's not going to be coming from Russia. I mean, it's delusional to even think that Russia is that critical for the standoff between India and China. It's not. Right? In fact, we are helping Russia in this standoff because they're having problems, they too are having problems, and they're scared of what China is probably doing in the Siberian border, in the Siberian area. Here, for folks who think that this is not true, look at what there's an article here in Times of India. It says defending India's tech sovereignty. In this line that I want you to notice, the Indian government was reliant on Google and Apple to take these apps off the Play Store. Now we're talking about the digital strike which took off 59 apps. It would not have been possible without the help of Google and Apple. And here, what you should know, and I should know, and the rest of India should know, that this was not because of our toughness and our Google and Apple have otherwise never ever listened to us. This was because of the tacit support of the US government, as this article writes, and that is God's own truth. This is not something that that Rajnath delivered or our Prime Minister delivered, this is the fact that the American government tacitly supported and pushed Google and Apple to delete these apps. That was a great move by India and well supported by the US. So to think that Russia is the key to our standoff against China is total, again living in the 70s and the old days of the USSR. Nothing could be further from the truth. All right. Having said that, let us see what's the other great thing that I think action-wise that has happened, besides the fact that India for the first time has bought up Hong Kong rightly because of the number of PIOs settled in Hong Kong in the UNCHR. And this is for the first time. Otherwise, till now, we were running scared. We were hiding. We were hiding behind different tales or hiding behind this false narrative of equidistance and not in any way ruining the sensitivities or stamping on the sensitivities of China. So here, there's another great move that's happened. I read somewhere, India to go big on Buddha's first sermon. Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the most, in my view, the most important and critical ownerships of a religion that India needs to dominate, culturally dominate Southeast Asia and China and Tibet. People have not understood the relevance of owning this religion. After all, it was created in India. It was formed in India. And we have to own this religion. We cannot let countries like Sri Lanka or Nepal or Tibet run away with that fact that this religion belongs and has its home in India. So this is really good, and it's a message that is going out to the world. Just look at the kind of monks, the countries from where the monks are attending. They're coming from Indonesia, they're coming from Jamaica, they're coming from Japan, they're coming from Laos, Malaysia, Mongolia, Myanmar, Nepal, Russia, Singapore, South Korea, Sri Lanka, Taiwan, Thailand, Uganda, UK, US and Vietnam. If someone tells me this is not the cultural strike of the century at this particular time, let's have a debate. This is one of the, I think one of the most brilliant moves made by Delhi. And it would be braver still if the Dalai Lama was invited. And that would truly send the right message to China. After all the other moves that India has been making, this will be a killer. Now, while we go about doing all this, alright, TikTok is obviously very worried. TikTok's CEO writes to government to share India expansion. Now just remember, the CEO of TikTok has just recently been appointed, a gentleman called Kevin Mayer. He jumped to TikTok from Walt Disney because he did not get the post of the CEO of Walt Disney and somebody else did. But here we have to be very wary of people like Kevin Mayer, because these are all cinephiles and they only have China's interests at heart. They are not American. So never, when you're dealing with him, never think he's an American. He's nothing but the stooge of China. And so is TikTok. And we have to continue to treat TikTok, no matter what their plans of expansion in India is, no matter whether they're going to set up servers in India. You have to remember, this is now a space that is being provided for the Indian apps to grow, and so it should. And if the collateral damage in this, let's see what the collateral damage will be. The collateral damage will be a lot of people may get unemployed. Okay, that's a pain we have to take. Then there's a lot of talk about all our unicorns. What's going to happen with the unicorns? So if these Chinese venture capitalists are forced to get rid of their shares in Oyo or in all the other companies, Paytm, what will happen? It'll be a reality check. There will always be a buyer. The buyer may be from the United States. The buyer may be from the rest of the America. However, the valuations that you get may not be these esoterical billion-dollar valuations, but it will be a reality check for our entrepreneurs. Maybe these companies are not worth the billions and billions of dollars that now has come to somehow be linked to success. They are loss-making companies, ladies and gentlemen. They are bleeding to high. They're not really big technology players. They've not delivered a technical breakthrough for India. These are just copycat applications that they've picked up from the United States and from China. There's nothing. There's nothing different about Oyo. There's nothing different about our Uber. I mean, the equivalent to Uber. Kya naam is gaadi? Ola. So to shed a tear for them is just not necessary. They'll always find a buyer. There will be always other finances for it. So we don't have to worry about the fallout or the collateral damage of blocking these apps. And now on the other front, I would say that look at the statement that's come out from here. Will resign ban on H1B on day one of my presidency filed. And to that he adds, strengthening ties with India would be priority for this administration, as he recalled his role in securing congressional approval for the US-India civil nuclear deal. Then he says, India needs to be a partner in the region for our safety, which is America's, and for theirs too, frankly. And that's right. It is just not, I mean, it's like the people who go and say it's about Americans. It's not. It's both our security. And our security, it is acknowledged we are going to be the frontline state in this war. So let's just grow up and be ready. Jai Hind. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.